close the night out right, panel at the table in that half-dead light. Miss Robin in the middle, calling every shot, directing and producing, till the story runs hot. 1-1 from the city, badge heavy on his chest, towing that law like a wicked chain, spitting facts, no rest. Crimes after dark, we close the night out right, tear through the lies till the wrong sounds like a fight. All of the answers buried so deep out of sight. We watch the threads unravel, we watch the threads ignite. JJ in the corner, state of the deep in his head, which lies to toss and which ones to keep instead. Dago from the cafe says forget about it, leans back, spins his thoughts like a blade cutting holes in the track. Lee at the front, head advocate, steady stare, every word like a warning, every silence a dare. All of them leaning in, clock crawling, eyes bright, every secret feels louder than the buzzing of the night. Crimes after dark, we close the night out right, tear through the lies till the wrong sounds like a fight. All of the answers buried so deep out of sight. We watch the threads unravel, we watch the threads ignite. You can bury it in paper, you can lock it in a file, but the truth bleeds through, drip by drip, tile by tile. We're dragging it to daylight, name by name, line by line. If you wrote it in the shadows, we'll read it out this time. Yeah. Crimes after dark, we close the night out right, tear through the lies till the wrong sounds like a fight. All of the answers buried so deep out of sight. We watch the threads unravel, we watch the threads ignite.
Well, hello out there, everyone. Welcome to another night of Crimes After Dark with Devil's Advocates. This is the Sunday edition, obviously, because it's Sunday. Imagine that. So good to have everyone here with us. Hope everyone had a fantastic weekend and that you will have a fantastic week ahead. So, just wanted to welcome in, uh, say hello to all of our mods. Of course, we have the amazing Amanda, the wonderful Essie Michael, and we have the amazing Pennywise. So thank you to all of our mods and to all of the mods on all three channels. How blessed are we that we have all of you mods out there over in the sauce and the believers and the blue crew. We are so blessed that we have all you guys with us each and every night. And we're, of course, tonight is we're covering this is part two of the Princess Diana case. So we're glad that you have joined us. Thank you for doing so. And I'm going to go ahead and start bringing up our panel on Sundays. For those who don't know, Lee takes the night off, and right now he especially is taking off Sunday because he is boots on the ground this week. He is going to, well, he's actually now there in Kentucky. Is he, informed everyone last night, and he's going to have a lot to report from there concerning Mickey Stein's case, as well as the Sabrina Adkins trial that's happening, starts on Tuesday. So he's going to have a lot of information. He will be here, as far as I know. He'll be here with us tomorrow evening, like normal. So, but for now, we're going to delve into Princess Diana's case tonight. So let me go ahead. I'm going to bring up Sir Dego to the stage. Hello there. How are
Forget about
you?
forget about it. Good evening. Hello, and how are ya?
I am well. It's good to see you as always. What's new in
You
your world today?
nothing. I didn't get a chance to go do anything. The boss, my wife, had me busy all day long putting together some kind of a giant cabinet thingy, and then removing other things. It was a busy in her house day. I didn't get to do nothing, so I missed
Hey,
everybody out there.
yeah, that's important stuff. I know what it's like putting that kind of stuff together. I actually enjoy it
Yeah,
though. I'm one of the weird people that I guess kind of likes it. So,
I like
but
doing it too.
yeah. So I don't know. I find something relaxing unless the instructions are like that awful that I can't make head nor tail out of what's happening. But
It's
and
satisfying
why
to
is
be
there always
done with it.
extra stuff?
Why? What?
Why is there always extra stuff left over?
There always is. I have a drawer full of that stuff. Full of it.
I think I probably have like 6 Allen wrenches, the cheapo, and I don't know why I keep them.
With the screwdriver on the end. Yeah, I have about like
Yeah,
5 or 6 of those too.
yeah. So,
Whoa.
well,
Yeah.
alrighty. Well, anyhow, I will bring up Miss Logan
All
to the
right.
stage. Hello, how are you, honey?
Hi, good. How are you guys?
Okay.
Good to see you.
Yee. So I sat down at my computer today, literally 3 hours ago. I was so excited for tonight. Yeah, I was sitting down like 3 hours ago, like, is the time yet? I'm so excited. I'm really excited
Well,
for today.
I'm so glad you're here with us tonight. I felt so bad last week. I was like, oh man.
Nah, it's okay. We have those days.
That is very true. That is very, and you're better to let yourself have some rest than to push. So, but yeah, we're excited that you're here tonight. We're
Yes.
looking forward to hearing your thoughts and so forth on this case. So I'll
Yes.
go ahead.
Am I any brighter,
Uh,
by the way? Is it any brighter in my
Yeah.
face? Is it? Okay.
Uh-huh.
I
you look
actually
fine.
Yeah.
I turned my little ring light thing on for a change since it's always so dark in here. I've
Oh
been
no, you look good. Yeah.
to put my makeup on again.
So. I will say we seem to be having, as per the usual, a little bit of StreamYard issues. So if folks out there, if you notice we're glitchy or don't be surprised. StreamYard is doing some funky crap. So which is nothing unusual, but we shall persevere and push on through. So
We hear
I
you,
am gonna.
Bronx. Did you
What's
hear
it?
him?
You hear
I was
Bronx?
like, we hear you, Bronx. He's back there whining. I can hear him.
Yes.
He's doing his little.
Well, he has to have his part too. I
It's
He
mean.
wants.
always when I'm, like, doing something and I am having to do something else, like, actually do it, then he's like,
Yes.
As,
Wait, my attention." I'm like, "Dude, you had attention all day."
as soon
They're
as
they're
Robin
they're
gets on
just
this, yeah, as soon as Robin gets on this camera, Coda appears. He'll either pop his head in on the screen or on the back of her chair. It's every time. I swear to
yep,
God.
every time. So I expect that he'll be along pretty shortly. So I'll be surprised if he doesn't. So
Right, right.
all right, I am going to go ahead and bring one to the stage. Captain or Captain, how are you?
Good to see you,
I'm
sir.
great. How are you doing? Oh yeah, buddy. Yeah. I'm peachy. I'm on a high from all this celebrating. I'm joining you. Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
it is awesome. I'm so full of emotion. I can feel it over here. I do. I feel it.
I'm just
We
full of
can
run piss from excitement.
we can feel it together. Yes. Yes. Together, buddy.
1, 3. No, just
Hell yeah.
How is everyone?
oh my gosh.
Good to have you
you
back.
know, we're just kids at heart.
Yes. Get a little
Yeah,
get a
we
little
missed you.
toy. I have to play with it.
I don't ever get to use mine. I use mine accidentally. I guess I got lead the other night and I had no clue it was on, and he was
Well-
like, "What the fuck is wrong with
Well,
your?" What are you talking
it's
about?
kind of funny. We had a meeting earlier, and they thought that you had joined
Mm.
because like a funny
'cause this-
sound, but it was
Oh, yeah,
me.
the distortion.
And they're like, "Wait, Dago's here. Wait, no, he's not here." Wait,
No,
where
I
is he?"
missed it. Unfortunately, I tried to log into it and it was already over because I had just didn't see the thing for it until after the fact. So I was like, "Shit,
Yeah.
I'll be at the next one. I promise."
Yeah. All right. You better.
All
I'll
right.
track you down. But
Yeah.
anyhow, I guess
I'm
we
happy.
should.
Yeah, go ahead. I'll
Yeah.
start us off. I'm happy. Logan is feeling better, and she's, I got a bunch of info all over the place, so I don't know where we're gonna end up, but we'll end up somewhere.
We generally do.
That's usually
Yes,
a
we
good
do.
thing.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah,
Is it
go
good
ahead
to
and
be
read us in.
alive? Is it good to be alive in the den on a
Oh,
Sunday
yeah.
night? Jackson, Juliana, and my beautiful wife. Love you guys. There are deaths the world accepts, and then there are deaths it memorizes. Not because we understand them, but because something about them never sits still. Tonight, we return to the final hours of Princess Diana, not the icon, not the headlines, not the fairy tale, but the timeline. A sequence of moments so delicate, so strangely misaligned that even decades later, they still tremble when you touch them. It begins quietly, too quietly. Security altered, protection reduced, patterns broken, without explanation. A woman who knew she was watched, suddenly moving without the layers meant to keep her safe. A trip that feels improvised, a plan that keeps changing, doors opening, then closing, then opening again. A hotel exit that wasn't supposed to happen that way. A car that shouldn't have left when it did. A driver who shouldn't have been driving at all. And somewhere in between those choices, minutes slip through the cracks. Witnesses remember different things. Timelines bend. Statements don't quite line up. Time stretches, then collapses. Inside a tunnel where light vanishes for just a moment too long, the world fractures. We're told it was an accident, a tragic convergence of speed, circumstance, and fate. But fate doesn't usually leave this many loose ends. Why the urgency? Why the secrecy? Why the silence that followed? Why does the official story feel rehearsed, while the timeline feels improvised? Evidence appears late. Other pieces disappear entirely. Key questions are answered, but only halfway. And the longer you sit with it, the quieter it gets, the more unsettling it becomes. Because timelines don't lie, they don't have emotions, they don't care about optics or public comfort. They only show you what happened and what didn't. This is Devil's Advocates. We don't shout theories, we don't rush conclusions. We sit with the uncomfortable pauses. We listen to what the silence is trying to say. Tonight, we move minute by minute, choice by choice, through the night, the world insists is over, even though the questions never were. Lower your voice, slow your breathing. The timeline is still here, and it is still waiting. And with that, live from New York, it's Sunday night.
All right. Good deal. We missed that. It's just not the same when you're not here for many reasons. And the no monologue, we're like, man, we don't have a monologue.
Yes, it's such a huge staple to this show, and I love it.
Good
Yeah.
job, buddy.
Ever. There he goes again.
I try.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
I
So, because Logan wasn't able to be with us last week, we thought it would be nice to kind of get some of your thoughts and so forth about
Sure.
Diana's early years, and so we could start there, and then I think we were right up in somewhere in the midst of the courtship, I believe.
Yeah,
Is where
I
I
think we just got
we
to
were
the
right.
end.
right.
the
We were
court-
kind of
like
right around
marriage and right around in there.
We
So
talked a little. We talked a little bit about like the pregnancy and how she threw herself down the stairs and a few things, but it was mostly the early stuff and just
Right.
just the basic. She kind of her it's like she was meant to be a boy and she wasn't, and she felt that. That's how her view. That's her view. She
Right.
what she grew up with.
Right.
That'd be a
So
good idea to
okay.
recap a little bit
Yes.
about her younger years
Right.
as we
And
get kicked this
um,
off.
and I feel too, especially because we probably have some people who missed last week and might enjoy a little bit of a recap that way before we continue
Yes.
on. So
Sure.
yeah, because a lot of people, I don't think last week maybe had been as aware as they are this time around that we were covering the Diana case. So
You are correct, man.
but
And
okay, very
they missed a ton of great pictures, man.
We have some family.
Yeah.
We have some of Diana's family in here tonight too. I mean,
Yeah.
that's interesting. Molly's
Oh.
joining us.
Oh,
Um,
neat.
Yeah. Oh, very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I find that super interesting with her
Very
being
cool.
actually related. That is so cool.
She's
have
related to the Spencer
nobility.
side. Yes.
Yeah. So, I guess we'll just jump right into it then, Logan. So what, I mean, what are some of your impressions?
So I have a couple of about 4 or 5 just comments I wanted to make, and we can talk about them too
Sure.
if you want or not. I just kind of wanted to put my
Yeah.
input on a few things.
Yes.
I wanted to touch quickly on Diana's eating disorder. I personally feel like a lot of times an eating disorder will start because they don't have control over much in their life, and that is one thing that they can control. So,
Right.
I feel like she had chaos in her childhood years,
Mhm.
but then she also went on to have chaos in her adult years as well. So, I think that her eating disorder basically stemmed from that. That was one of the very few things she could control, and I think that's where that stemmed from, along with the low self-esteem and how she was treated and things like that. But a lot of it is control.
Mhm.
Right. And
Um,
that's an interesting point about that a lot of people don't stop to think of with that particular disorder. It is a self-esteem issue, but also when you don't have, much autonomy in your life, you find ways because our minds are conditioned to crave control. We want to control our destiny. We want to control everything to do with our lives. So when that is taken away from us, we try to gain that control any way we can. So yeah, that's a very interesting point. Very interesting.
And I agree. And to take that going into what she was heading into, that's a recipe for disaster.
Absolutely. And I'm glad you said that, because I also feel like she went from the family she grew up in, to having low self-esteem and not being heard or seen or literally anything, straight into the exact same thing with Charles, the exact
Yes.
same thing. And I think that she was ultimately okay with it because that's all she knew.
Right. That makes
And
sense.
unfortunately, she didn't have one person in her life that told her, "This is not okay. It's not okay to be treated this way. You need to leave," because everybody around her wanted her in that situation so they could have the benefits of the relationship as well.
Right. And I agree 100%. And that's like what we spoke about last week. That was so probably a big thing with the eating disorder. And that it was probably like the main thing that she decided to make these secret tapes that which then became a book, which led her on, recipe for disaster to later on with the interview and all that. But
Yeah.
her tapes, these secret tapes, she had, like, everyone has to have some way of letting out their emotion, and she
Hmm.
really, and it's not like from her own voice, from stuff from in this book that she describes. She was it's not like she didn't know how or she wasn't trying. She tried to reach out, just people wouldn't listen. And
Right.
it's like I said last week, it's just amazes me. I know, maybe we have some younger people in here who, I mean, she died so long ago now, um, for how good of a heart she had, and really, she didn't do stuff for a photo opportunity. She's one of the people in, I could say, like, f- my opinion, she was legitimately just a good, a pure-hearted person that wanted to help children, wanted to help people who were sick, and it wasn't about the photo op or any of that, but
She was
yet,
never looking for any personal gain, right?
right, she wasn't looking for personal gain, but yet at the same time, she had such a tormented soul behind the scenes, which it's just insane.
Yeah, she did have a tormented soul, and I think that that is what made her the people's princess ultimately, and that's what made her such an empath, because I think she didn't want any person around her to ever feel 1 ounce of the pain that she felt inside,
Yeah.
and
That's a
that
good way to put
showed.
it.
Which leads me actually into my next statement, was the issues with self-harm. I think sometimes not just her, but other people that self-harm do it because partially in their mind, it's like, oh, you can't see my pain. I can't even see my pain. So I'm going to do something where I can now physically see my pain. And that's how I'm going to try and work through it or get over it. As soon as I can physically see my pain, I can then move forward. And I think that might be part of why she did that. But also, obviously, a combination of everything that she went through in childhood and the beginning years with Charles as well.
Good point. Very good point.
I
Yeah.
then also think that Harry stepped out of the royal family because I think he saw how his mom was treated and then moved on and saw that that's how his wife was being treated. And he said, oh, heck no. I'm going to move her. He was her protector, and Diana didn't have that. So
That's
Harry
Yeah.
stepped out to protect his wife.
that's
And
exactly what I said last week about Harry
Mhm.
oh,
because
okay.
Yeah.
no, it's good that you said that because it's like that's what I imagined too. After seeing what his mother went through as a child, growing up in that
Oh,
mix,
yeah.
that yeah, absolutely. I'm not going to put you through this. I know what they're going to do to you. We're going to get away from this now while we can, and I believe that's what he did.
Diana never had a sense of safety in anyone around her her entire life. Even when she thought she had a sense of safety,
Right, right.
Charles's family was bugging the phone, so she couldn't
Always,
have a private conversation. It
yes.
was just a
Yep.
sad, sad upbringing for her. Just not that she had a bad upbringing looking from the outside in, it was just in her soul. She
Mhm.
didn't get the love she needed in the way that she needed it.
Right.
And I don't know if you guys touched on this last week, and I might be jumping a little ahead, but I just wanted to make sure that the audience knows and remembers that before Diana married Charles, she did find a piece of jewelry that was from Charles to Camilla, and they had pet names on it. And Diana asked her friends and family, "What should I do now where I'm about to get married? Everything's planned." And everybody told her, "You better stay." So she knew that there was something going on, and
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
found the jewelry, and everyone told her to stay.
Well,
Well,
and
and I'm
I
kind of surprised that they did. I mean,
Yeah.
unfortunately, unfortunately,
I
because it's almost like it was so far gone at that point that how do you break up with
you
the
bingo. How do you break up with the king or the prince of England?
Right.
Like truly,
Right.
you know? And I think that
yeah,
they were telling her you better stay because the consequences of leaving this situation could be a million times worse than what you think you're going through now. And I agree with that. Like they can,
Mhm.
well, look what we're talking about.
Yep.
Look why we're here. You
right,
know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
right,
Yes.
right. But yeah, I agree. She had no safety net. She didn't have that one person who, I mean, outside of her one sister, oh my gosh, her name Jane?
Sarah,
No, no,
the other one.
the other
Okay. I know who I can't think either of and
Jane?
who it was.
yeah, Jane. I think it was
Jane.
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 That she was probably maybe the only one that she could count on in any way, shape, or form, really. But what could her sister really do? That was the thing. She could talk to her sister and everything, and but her sister wasn't in a position at all to actually do anything to
You
help her.
you can't stand
So
up
she,
against the royal family. You just can't.
No.
And I think she
right,
found that person with Dodie, as we're gonna get
right,
into that down the road, but then it
Yeah.
was too late. So
yeah,
excuse me.
Yep. That's about all I had. But I agree. I think she did get to feel a sense of safety and true love with Dodie, but
Yes,
obviously we'll get into that. But yep,
absolutely.
yeah.
that's all I had. I just wanted to comment on those
Okay.
things.
Good
No,
point.
Yeah.
that was
Good
really
stuff.
really great. Yeah,
Yeah.
Good recap too.
yeah, yeah. Very nice recap.
It is
So
also interesting to me that with having body image issues and bulimia and issues with her self-esteem, it was interesting that she chose swimming and ballet as some of the things she loved and didn't have a problem wearing a swimming suit or a
Right.
ballet outfit and things like that. I found that very interesting.
I agree, and I think it's because she felt different doing that, Logan. Like
yeah,
as she okay, we all know if you guys know anything about I'm lucky enough to have my wife and her degrees and all the psychological things I can worry to ask her about. I'll always know going to her, but when you have like self-image issues and sometimes like the swimming and the ballet stuff are probably things she did to make her feel more human or feel better about herself. So in turn, when she goes into that mode, she doesn't see herself the way that she was seeing herself is what I'm trying to say. So,
Yeah, I think
um,
it put her in an element of she
Yeah.
was not even thinking of other people or
right.
time or
no,
places or herself. It was just something she got to get lost in, and
She
that's why
Yeah.
did.
she
It was an
felt
escape.
comfortable. Yep.
Yeah.
Bingo.
It was an
Same.
escape.
yeah,
That's how my music is for me. When I get into writing lyrics or going and playing music, I just completely separate from the world. And
yep,
I don't care what's going on. I just do
Yep.
what I do, and then I come back to it when I'm done. 100%.
That's how piano
yep,
is for me, so I get it.
Yes.
yeah, yep. Same way with my writing, and so yeah, it's and it's just those brief moments sometimes that can carry people through, the hard things that we deal
Yeah.
with.
Agreed.
And that was obviously, I found it such a shame that when she was a teenager and had that skiing accident that
Mm,
she, not that she was ever going to really dance competitively because they kept telling her she was too tall, but it still did impede that to some extent, and that was a shame. But she was definitely talented in a lot of ways that maybe a lot of people didn't realize. So
And yes, I see you
Yeah.
guys in the chat talking about Fergie. Fergie went through the same stuff, Princess Fergie, if not worse, as well.
oh yeah,
There's a whole background thing going on with her. So
yeah,
So
yeah. She
so
didn't have it easy
just
either.
to kind of just jump on a reminder from last week, some of the stuff that Logan just brought out, because we touched on it last week, talking about the bulimia and the self-harm and all that stuff. So um again, for those of you who didn't join us last week, so um Princess Diana wrote, there was a book published that basically was from her. I think it was called Her Own Words. Okay, so it's from her tea. So it's basically all of how she felt. So it's not just like what someone else thinks. And so to add on to what Logan was saying there about the bulimia and the self-harm and stuff, um, she basically talks about the psychological engine, and it shows how pain escalates when there is no safe witness. She's physically sick, emotionally panicked, and still forced into ceremonial duty and then punished for not doing it flawlessly. Um, she describes self-harm as communication. In trauma psychology terms, this can function as a desperate attempt to convert invisible pain into visible crisis, because visible pain is dismissed. So she was crying, begging for help, and gets a hard emotional wall. And then the third part, the cruelty is structural. The most devastating part isn't just a one argument, it's the expectation that she must keep sitting at the table, keep smiling, keep duty intact while her body collapses.
yeah, I have an interview that she did um about it kind of gets it's a little bit further ahead
Yeah.
when she has William, so on and so forth. But she talks in this interview about postpartum depression and the stuff Logan brought up too, and she talks about the self harm and how hard it was while she was pregnant with William, so on and so forth. I mean, we can get into that once we get to that if you guys want, or we can go into that. Whatever you want to do, I have that, by the way, just so you know.
Okay, all right,
Yeah.
excellent. Yeah,
And one of the big things about what you're saying, you guys, is that with when it was realized that she had these issues, she went in for treatment for these things, right? But there was absolutely zero community support because of it. Because you're not supposed to have issues like that
Right. Exactly.
when you belong to the royal family. So
Right.
nobody acknowledges it, guys, which is pretty pathetic to me, if you ask me. But
Oh, you're muted.
yeah,
Not only being in the royal family, but also that was a different time as well. I mean, at that time, we didn't really look at, or a lot of people didn't really look at getting help from a therapist or counseling as, oh, you're working on yourself. Before, it was more like, oh, you have issues.
yes, very
right.
much.
Right. And it's interesting that you mentioned that, as I think one of the big things about her, this in her own words, this tapes and book that came out, she was trying to say that it's okay to not be perfect, like because no one is, people have issues, people have problems, and just because you're some famous person or you're in the royal family or whatever, we all have issues. So
Sure.
But like you're saying back then, I mean, it was considered weakness if you couldn't
yeah.
handle anything. And I mean, and that, from the whole history of the monarchy. That's the way it's always been, and not just with the monarchy, but with all the kinds of nobility and you didn't, because otherwise you could be ostracized, you could be, locked away somewhere, and so
Yeah.
yeah, it was just very sad that she wasn't able to get the kind of help that she really truly needed to help her through the kind of postpartum depression and things like that she was going through.
Yep,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. When she gave that interview through the BBC, which we can't play it here, but I can read it word for word what the interview was. It's written.
Mhm.
It was in 1995. It was very interesting. And it's very sad too to realize, like, even looking back in 95, um, you know, people are dealing with like what we just covered, 94, Kurt Cobain's death. Okay. I was 18 years or 19 years old. And then she dies. I was 20 years old. I didn't look at this like, I was young still. So it was like, oh, Princess Diana died. As I got older, I realized, because we were still young, I'm still less like freaking out about Kurt Cobain dying as compared to, the princess in England, which was, and I'm not saying one's more important than the other, guys. Don't get me wrong, but I didn't focus in on it as much and realize how serious like some of the things were in her life until I read about a lot of this stuff as I got older, is what I was trying to say. Sorry, I kind of went off there for a minute. My apologies. But definitely very crazy.
Hmm. I always thought for some reason Diana passed in 94, but it wasn't. It was 97.
No.
So strange.
97. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kurt died in
Yeah.
94.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, one is definitely more high profile than the other, but they're both just as important as the other.
Oh yeah. Yep. That's for sure. So, um, you said you have that interview there, Dago.
I do. I can read it. It's with Martin Bashir, from the BBC.
Okay.
And they brought it back when it hit 20 years that she had passed, and they pulled the interview back out, and they reproduced it, put it back out to the world to see.
And there's a whole bunch of controversy with that too.
Yes,
Right?
yeah.
Yeah.
And it says that in the interview, Diana spoke candidly about her experience with postpartum depression and self-injury. She was honest and reflective, and even though us commoners can't fathom the unique pressures of royal living, her struggles as a new mother are surprisingly relatable. Um, so this is the hard part about reading these. So I'm going to have to go back and forth as I am both people. Bashir said, how did the rest of the royal family react when they learned that the child that you were having was going to be a boy? Diana says, well, everybody was thrilled to bits. It had been quite a difficult pregnancy. I hadn't been very well, very, very well throughout it. So by the time William arrived, it was a great relief because it was all peaceful again, and I was well for a time. For a time. This is, or I'm sorry, then I was unwell with postnatal depression, she called it, which no one ever discusses. Postnatal depression, you have to read about it afterwards, and it in itself was a bit of a difficult time. You'd wake up in the morning feeling that you didn't want to get out of bed. You felt misunderstood, and just very, very low in yourself. So she was already dealing with self-confidence issues, got pregnant, and that we all know what that does at times, to the woman's body, to her mental health, her emotional health, things like that. So she's dealing with
Right.
this already. Then she goes into this and kind of like compounds it.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Sorry. And then Bashir says, was this completely out of character for you? And she says, yes, very much so. I never had a depression in my life. Now, a lot of the stuff that she had dealt with when she was younger, she didn't realize from what I read out of the one book, what it was, why she felt the way
Right.
she did. So
Right.
she didn't quite get it. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
she always presented herself as a very happy, outgoing person. But like you said, one has said this many a times now. she had a tortured soul, which,
Mhm.
that's a basis of depression in a lot of ways if you look at it. So, um, yes, she said, very much so. I never had depression in my life. But then when I analyzed it, I could see the changes I'd made in the last year had all caught up with me. And my body had said, we want to rest. So here's the part that I was explaining to you guys a little bit ago. Bashir says, so what treatment did you actually receive? She said, I received a great deal of treatment, but I knew in myself that actually what I needed was space and time to adapt to all the different roles that had come my way, as we spoke about. I knew I could do it, but I needed people to be patient and give me the space to do it. Bashir says, when you say all of the different roles that had come your way, what do you mean? Diana, well, it was a very short space of time in the space of a year that my whole life had changed, turned upside down, and it had its wonderful moments, but it also had challenging moments. And that goes back to what we talked about last week when she was brought in, to the palace, the family. She had to go through speech classes to be able to give speeches. She had to do etiquette classes to be able to learn how to act as a royal. Many, many things that they put her through all at one time, which,
Right.
she was still, when she came on board with the royal family, she was already a very well put person, for lack of better terms. And they took and made her do even more of that, just to be able to be part of this family, which is wild. To go through speech classes, folks, imagine that, to be able to give public speeches the way that they want you to. That's crazy to
Right.
me.
Yeah, it
So,
wasn't
Yeah.
there was a certain protocol for how to conduct herself when
yes,
giving a speech. It wasn't just a matter of, researching something, getting up there and saying it well. There was a certain protocol for doing it. So,
yeah, 100%, which is wild. Like, we all think, oh, well, you write it down, you stand in front of a million people and you say what you say. It don't work that way there, guys. It just doesn't.
no.
So, um, Bashir says, so what effect did the depression have on your marriage? She says, well, it gave everybody a wonderful new label. Diana's unstable and Diana's mentally unbalanced. And unfortunately, that seems to have stuck on and off over the years. Bashir says, are you saying that the label stuck with your marriage? Diana says, I think people used it and it stuck. Yes. Um, Bashir says, according to press reports, it was suggested that it was around this time that things became so difficult that you actually tried to injure yourself. Diana says, when no one listens to you or you feel no one's listening to you, all sorts of things start to happen. And there it is, guys.
Yeah.
She was pushed to the back burner. They used her face to present with Charles as Princess Diana. And we talked about it last week. Speaking out was nothing. No,
Mhm.
you don't do that unless you're told to do that. Period. So,
Right.
Right.
um, for instance, you have so much pain inside yourself that you try and hurt yourself on the outside because people you want on the outside because you want help, but it's the wrong help you're asking for. People see it as crying wolf or attention seeking, and they think because you're in the media all the time, you've got enough attention, inverted commas, you know. Um, but I was actually crying out because I wanted to get better in order to go forward and continue my duty and role as wife, mother, princess of Wales. So yes, I did inflict upon myself and I didn't like myself. I was ashamed because I couldn't cope with the pressure. Bashir says, what did you actually do? Diana, well, I just hurt my arms and legs and I work in environments now where I see women doing similar things and I'm able to understand completely where they're coming from. Bashir says, what was your husband's reaction to this when you began to injure yourself in this way? Diana says, well, I didn't actually always do it in front of him, but obviously anyone who loves someone would be very concerned about it. Bashir, did he understand what was behind the physical act of hurting yourself? Do you think? Diana says, no, but then not many people would have taken the time to see that. So stopping right there at that point, imagine this woman's hurting herself to get attention
Yeah.
and crying out to the world. The royals don't look at things like this as an issue. It's like, what the hell are you doing? And she was so ignored by him on a regular basis anyway. He probably didn't even see it. She's probably like embellishing that right there to make it sound better, in my opinion. Okay, because he probably didn't care, guys. In my opinion, I just don't think he did.
I mean, he wasn't home half the time anyway.
Right. That's it.
So,
Yeah.
Right.
so and then when he was home and she was trying to talk to him, he didn't want hardly anything to do with her.
That's it.
So
He was an arm piece for her, guys. That's what he was. It wasn't they didn't have the let's go to the movies, let's go on a date, let's go spend time together at the park and have a picnic thing. They didn't have that relationship. They just didn't. It was all business. She was there to be seen with him whenever he would make public appearances. She was there to look good with him, make him look good in a sense, and be quiet, and be seen and not heard. We've all heard that.
Yeah.
So truly, that's what it was, and it's pretty sickening to me.
It was never about compatibility with them. It was just that she looked good in that moment for the family and for him.
Almost like we said last week, like an arranged marriage, guys, is basically what it in a sense it was. It's really saddening to me. And Bashir says, were you able to admit that you were in fact unwell, or did you feel compelled simply to carry on performing as the Princess of Wales? She says, I felt compelled to perform. Well, when I say perform, I was compelled to go out, do my engagements, and not let people down, support them and love them. And in a way, by being out in public, they supported me, though they weren't aware just how much healing they were giving me, and it carried me through. And it says the interview reveals how brave Diana was at the time. There was a strong stigma of mental illness, which is true. It's what Logan had said before. And she helped to start a conversation, and for that we have respect. So there's that part of the interview I thought was kind of important to fit in here. Very interesting to me, and like in a sense, like it says there, she kind of put her foot forward and helped people to be seen for the emotional and mental. I mean, she spoke about it. People didn't talk about that then. It was taboo,
Absolutely.
Cutting and things like that. You didn't talk about that kind of stuff back then. She kind of helped start I guess you could say, in a sense, maybe like a movement to say it's okay to talk about this.
Yeah.
It's okay to say, hey, I need help. So
yeah.
Yep. She started it with her tapes and that book, and then further with this interview.
Very much so.
And I think that was like the culmination. Once this interview, that was like the beginning of the end for her.
when you said it was controversial, you're not supposed to talk about that stuff, especially with who she was affiliated with, who she's married to. No, you don't do that. But she did it because that was Diana. And that's why she was always in the news and always the controversial situation, because she did what she did. And you gotta love that. You gotta have some pride in who she was, and that's why everybody looked to her. I think Logan said it. That's why she was the people's princess, because she was kind of, in a sense, all of us. Be able to speak out on things, did things you weren't supposed to do. Would take that extra step to see what happens, to try to help in other senses in that way. So yeah,
which is something she did really, in a sense, kind of all of her life, because she did have defiant moments. I mean, she's from nobility, but she went out and she held these, you would call it like I don't want to call it menial, but for them, someone of her station. I mean, she was a teaching assistant, like in a kindergarten, essentially. She worked as a cook for a little while.
Right.
She was a nanny. I mean, she did a lot of things that someone like her really wasn't supposed to be
she worked.
doing.
She volunteered at the psychiatric hospital, guys. That was a big one when I found that out. Like, that's a big deal. So
it was more like servant positions.
Yeah.
Right. Yes.
Helping others and helping the public. Yeah.
Which again, which is, to me, is such a crazy thing about her story. Like, she's in these positions of always like trying to help people, but couldn't get help
Mhm.
herself. It's like,
But
Yeah.
I think that's how it works a lot of the times, and that's a lot of the times how you know that somebody has such an empath soul is because they maybe went through something in their childhood, some sort of
yeah,
trauma, and they don't want anybody else to feel how they felt or feel alone, and that's why they go into servant type positions.
Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah.
it takes a tremendous person to be able to do that, you know?
Yeah. They found a letter from her that she had written to herself, kind of a, I guess you would call it like a diary log of
Mhm.
some sort, okay, in some
Right.
senses. That just 2 days, folks, 2 days after marrying Prince Charles, she admitted that she felt terribly, terribly lonely. Um, that's horrifying to think about when you move into a new situation with a husband and you're starting a brand new life, and 2 days in, you feel completely alone. It's very sad to me.
Yeah. I think she
Yeah.
also felt a sense of loss of her independence because up until till then, she had her own independence. She was making her own decisions about her future, and then all the she marries Charles, and all even before they were married, that just stopped, and she had to do what
Yeah.
she was told to do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And so I think when she started, talking in interviews and so forth, that was her kind of like rediscovering herself in a way.
Mhm.
yeah, yeah. And that letter, I misspoke. I'm sorry, you guys, and I hate when I do that. That letter, when she was new there, she didn't know anybody, okay, other than Charles, and she didn't even know the Queen because they didn't converse very much. So she wrote this letter to somebody by the name of Mark Simpson. He was a Buckingham Palace footman, okay, who was close in age to Diana. We all know there was a big age difference between her and Charles and most everybody else that was there at that time. She was probably the youngest person there. Sorry, guys. And
That's okay.
that's a no-no. Like, you don't write a personal letter to, let alone anybody, but let alone a footman at the palace. You-
Mhm.
mm-mm. And it says that her stay was made so much easier by your company as it was so terribly lonely. We had so many laughs for that. I can't thank you enough. Now, do you realize that something like that is immediately a scandal? Okay. Because anybody would read that and say, what do you mean are your times together? She's not supposed to be spending time with people like that, especially not a footman, for Christ's sakes. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So,
Right.
those are the kinds of things, like when Robin said she did that kind of stuff. She kind of put herself out there and did these things. She probably didn't look at him in that way, but that's how they're going to look at it and how the world would look at it. That she was cheating per se. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's wild because, we don't see it that way. She was that lonely that she has these conversations with a footman at the palace, just so she didn't feel like she was lonely all the time. And they would laugh and joke
Yeah.
and talk about things and stuff. It's kind of sad. So,
Yeah. I'm gonna leave and come back real quick. You are glitching like crazy, Dago, and I think it's on my end. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave
No,
real quick
yeah, I
and
hear him fine.
okay.
okay, so I think it's me. So I'll be right back, guys. So just talk amongst yourselves and whatever. I'll be right
So
back.
when she signed the letter to Mark Simpson, signed off on it, it says she signed off with warmth and humor, referencing her shared cereal rituals and adding a large thank you for being you. Much love, Diana. So they would sit and eat bowls of cereal, have conversations, and just have human conversation, which is something she wasn't supposed to be doing, and things that you just can't do. You can't just put yourself out there when you're royal. It's wild and weird to me to hear these things. So, um, and all that was when she was living at the palace, transitioning from being a normal person, as they called it, to being royalty, and all the things that she went through at that point. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Um, Back to you guys.
Yeah, that is interesting. I think part of it, in my mind, the way I picture it, is what she went through in her childhood with her family and not feeling like she was belonging is exactly what she stepped into with Charles and the royal family as well. So, although
Yeah,
she didn't want that, um, that in a sense, unfortunately, was comfortable to her. So she was used to it and knew how to carry herself and act or react or not react or whatever, especially in the public eye.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Is that better, Robin?
So far, yes.
There you go.
All right.
Welcome back, Robin.
Wrong phone floor. So, okay. Where were we when I left?
I just explained.
yeah.
I just
Yeah.
finished explaining that whole letter and all that stuff. I didn't know if you guys
Oh,
wanted to
okay.
jump forward or if you wanted me to keep going with any of this stuff.
Whatever you guys want to do, it doesn't matter.
1-1.
What did you
Okay.
have?
Yeah.
1-1. I don't know.
Well, I have a ton of stuff, but a lot of stuff I have we may not, and that we might not get to, and that's fine. I have stuff about the inquest from 2007, and then I have a whole bunch of stuff from the kind of the investigation they did with the 14 experts in 2025.
Oh, okay. All right. So
And
we're
and
not
then I
there yet.
also
Okay.
and then I also have a whole bunch of stuff on the actual the timeline of events, when she died and all that. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I have stuff. I'm a little ahead, but that's fine. We can keep
Okay,
talking about
that's
this
okay.
stuff. That's
Well, I have
That's okay.
more I can keep going to build
yeah.
up to
Keep
that
going.
point if
Yeah,
you
that's
want.
fine.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Logan, do you have
Yeah, it's
anything
good
to add
stuff.
into this point at this point, Logan, or no?
No, I think I've said everything or touched on
Okay.
everything I wanted to so far.
So
Okay.
once they got married, okay, things started to progress, and I'm going to jump to, I think it was by 1986. Okay. Excuse me. As we all know, we've seen her in multiple appearances. Their lives started to get more and more further apart, I guess you could say. And by 1986, both Charles and Diana, okay, because we have to look at both sides of this, began having extramarital affairs. Okay, and again,
Yep.
that goes back to Diana's being lonely. Charles always doing what he always did. He was never home. He was always here, there, and everywhere. I think one of the first ones he started with, of course, we know Camilla Parker Bowles, however you say her name, Bowell, whatever. That's when they started their kind of their thing. I'm not a fond of her at all, so excuse me.
I'm not either.
And he says the way it reads, it says an unhappy Charles turned to his friend Parker Bowles in 1986, beginning an extramarital affair with the woman who would become his second wife and queen consort. Sorry. He confirmed his infidelity in a 1994 interview conducted as part of the ITV documentary Charles, the private man. The public role asked directly if he'd been unfaithful. He told the interviewer that he'd been faithful until the marriage became irretrievably broken down, us both having tried. So,
Bull crap.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I
right.
call
This is a
bullshit.
lie.
He didn't try anything. Okay, he did what he
No.
did. He did what he wanted. He did how he wanted, and left her to the back to deal with things. And at some point, loneliness is loneliness. Okay,
Right.
you have to have human interaction in your life to survive. In my opinion, you cannot just sit and go make all these public appearances without him by your side, which she did a lot of that. I think we saw more of her alone doing different things in a public eye than we saw them together ever, if I can remember correctly. So there's
Right.
a lot of that.
And when we did see them together, we always heard at least a dig or two that he would say to her
Yes.
in front of the world, which how embarrassing. Although I do want to make a point that being unfaithful is not okay on either
No.
side. I don't care
No.
how lonely you are. It's still not okay, not for her, not for him. But could you have imagined what would have happened to her had she just left and been by herself? She would have been in so much danger.
Yes.
I'm almost glad in a sense that she did get with Dodie. So she had some sort of safety around
Something.
her, to be honest.
Right.
And it
Yeah.
sounded like she got some love from him. So I'm glad she felt that before she passed. I didn't mean to
that-
step
Yeah.
too far ahead, though.
No, you're absolutely right, Logan. I said that earlier. Like, it's good that she had that, finally had that compatibility and that camaraderie, or I'm not looking for the right, or saying the right word, but you know what I mean.
Companion.
Companionship. Thank you, Robin. With somebody
Yep.
that showed her
Yep.
actual love, that gave her the
Yeah.
feeling of, this is how important you actually truly are. You know what I mean? That put her on the pedestal she deserved to be on, in my opinion. So
And
Yeah,
his
I
family,
agree.
Dodie's family even treated her like she
Yeah.
was the most special thing, like a daughter. Dodie's dad even spoke of her and called her his daughter.
yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. And
Yep.
there's other
Yep.
things that wrapped around that too, which is very interesting. I mean, and we'll get, again, that comes down the road with with his father and all that. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But she made a statement more than once. She made the statement that there were three of us in this marriage, so it was a bit crowded. Diana said, speaking of Camilla and Charles
Yeah.
spent all these all this time together in public as friends. Everybody in the world knew exactly what the hell was going on in the background, though. People aren't
Yep.
stupid. And here's Diana having to sit over here to the side of this, and everybody's looking at her like, really? This is okay? What's she gonna say? There's nothing she could say about it. She's not allowed. She's not allowed to speak up. She's not allowed to say, you know, that's my husband. You need to leave him alone. You need to go away. That doesn't work that way in that type of an atmosphere. You know what I mean? So very
Yeah.
sadly, she just had to sit and take
Yeah.
it. And that's
Well,
unbelievable.
she did fight back a few times, though. I mean,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
in a very kind of classy way. I mean, Esther was just saying to me about, it reminded me about the revenge dress.
Yeah.
She
Yes.
the up to the thigh and very low neckline, and and that was one way. Another was when she showed Princess Charles up. They were, she played piano that day when he couldn't play it was I think it was a cello he was trying to
Yeah.
play, and she just sits down at the piano and just rattles off a song, and so she got in trouble for that, and
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
wearing her hair up and back the one day,
Mhm.
and so she did get in her little digs
Yes.
once in a while, and in very subtle, like, I didn't know she wasn't supposed, like, till recently, I didn't know you weren't supposed to wear your hair up or whatever, but
And
and who could blame her? I mean,
right. That's the only way she could get anything in about, that's her way
yeah,
of saying, you know what? Okay, fine. Here you go. You know what I mean? So that's the
yeah,
only way she could do anything. And you got to love that. You got to love and respect that, because it proves that, she knows what's being done to her. But at the same time, she
mhm,
would do those things, and then she would have to go home to the palace. She'd have to be reprimanded because the queen was constantly telling, you can't do that. You can't do this. You have to be this way. You have to be that way. You blah, 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 that kind of stuff. And she was like,
yeah,
okay, so be it. And right on to the next thing. So,
yeah,
also in '86, she had started to have her own affairs in the tapes that were
Yeah.
featured in Diana, which is what one was talking about.
Mhm.
In her own words, she talks about her feelings for a person in the palace environment. And it makes me wonder if it was that Mark Simpson, because they got pretty close at a period of time. Widely believed to be her bodyguard, which I remember that rumor back in the day. Barry Manicky. I don't remember the name, but I remember the rumor. And
mhm,
that came from the Oprah Daily. I think it was a statement that was put out from there. And Diana said that she'd be quite happy to give all this up and just go off and live with him, meaning her bodyguard. And he kept saying that he thought it was a good idea. Manicky died in a motorbike accident in May of '87.
Oh, what a surprise.
Geez,
yeah,
that sounds so familiar. It
yeah,
couldn't have been the royal family.
This is
Yeah.
what happens, you guys,
no,
and this is real shit.
yeah,
It's unbelievable, and very conveniently, these statements are made. Poof, he's gone. And don't tell me that it didn't come from the other direction, because we all know. We all know.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if you guys want to cover anything else more within their relationship over the period of years that they were married, or what you guys have with that. because what I have jumps from that forward to when they start to divorce and all that kind of stuff.
I just want to make sure that people know that aren't so big into this story or the royal family that Charles really like did everything he could to just knock her down all the time with his words, with his actions, with
Yep.
everything. And I think she just got sick of being humiliated all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Yeah.
and again, who could really blame her? And for someone who did show a lot of early independence, and as she matured, and she was rediscovering that independence, and she was just getting fed up, and she probably also thought, I don't want my boys thinking that this is how they should treat their future spouses.
Yeah.
Sure.
I was
That was the one. That was
because
the one thing. The one thing that, although she was a tormented soul for many years, and yes, she did throw herself down the stairs, during one of her pregnancies, but her children were like, that was like the one thing that I think actually gave her happiness.
Yeah.
Her actually, so
There's a photograph with what Robin was talking about was some of the stuff she did that she wasn't supposed to do with the clothes she wore and stuff like that. This is one of those, and it was listed. The photograph was listed as the unbelievable dress is what it says, because being with the royal family, you don't do this. If you want to throw that picture up, Robin, as you notice, like the low cut front of it, the shoulders being exposed, all that kind of stuff. That's not how they're supposed to dress. Which is
right.
it's a beautiful dress. The whole look is beautiful, as she was, but yeah, she wasn't supposed to do stuff like that. That's what Robin was like saying, and
Mhm.
so on and so forth. So
yeah,
I thought that was interesting that you brought that up, because I had that photograph sitting over here.
yeah.
That's one of them. There was another one that I think the one you were talking about exactly was a red dress. Wasn't it a red dress?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I thought so. I seen that one too, but this was another one, because if you look at this, it doesn't show the whole thing, because I think they were not allowed to take a photograph of her if she wore anything like this below that level. That's my understanding. So I don't know, because it was
That's
un
right.
something to the royal family or something. It was disgraceful or some shit. But anyway,
Yeah.
was this the revenge dress in black?
I'm looking. There's the black one, but I thought there was a red one too.
So did I.
Yeah. I'm not locating it, but I'll try to find it maybe for next week or something. But
Well,
the
either,
only other one I'm finding is there is another black one.
yeah. This is one that they were saying was a highly, highly, highly not okay. So,
Yeah, that's the one I found. Yeah.
but again, and again, I mean, she looked remarkable in it. You know what I mean?
Oh
She
my
did.
God, yeah.
And
She can pull it off, and that's
yeah.
probably partly what they were pissed at.
And there was really nothing exposed, you guys. There's nothing. If
No.
you
Yeah.
look down, you it doesn't go to show anything. It's just when you're in that family, you don't dress this way. Period. And it's just, oh no, you know what I mean? So ridiculous, ridiculous. So
Yeah.
anyway, I just thought I'd show that.
Could you imagine how Charles would have treated the children had she had girls instead of boys? I mean, he ignored the
man.
boys already, but my goodness.
They would have been miserable, and it would have been
Yeah.
Miserable.
it would have been horrifying.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. It's so yeah, she was probably trying to set an example for the boys, is, this isn't how you should treat your future spouses, please,
Yeah, definitely, definitely. I need to step away for a minute, folks. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Sure.
But kids usually learn by watching rather than listening to
Mhm.
what somebody tells them to do or not to do. And I think that their mom passing away in such a horrific way, and when they grew up, they probably knew what actually happened.
I'm
I
not
think
finding
it
the
took
room.
her passing away for them to realize and understand, I need to take everything my mom said to heed and actually live that life rather than just listening to her say, "Hey, don't let somebody treat you this way, but also don't treat somebody this way like your dad treats me."
Right. Yeah, absolutely. So, just looking through here a
So
moment.
thank you,
So
Thomas
you
Stark. Thomas Stark says, "Why did she marry Charles? He's such a creep, and she was so young and beautiful." Thank you for the $5. I personally think she married Charles because she was used to being treated the way that he treated her. She didn't have anybody in her corner to guide her or tell her not to do that, number one, but also the people she did have around her thought that it would be great because they would get benefits from that relationship. Also, she didn't know any better. She never saw any better to know better. That's my opinion.
Well, but I agree with that a lot. And the thing was, though, she was, according to her employer at the time, she was genuinely excited at first. Like, I think he also presented to her at first, because they only met 13 times before they got engaged. That
right.
was
And they
it.
were all
They
in
had a lot of phone
stable.
calls.
Yeah.
So I think he kind of maybe had her a little bamboozled at first, that, he was this gallant, you know, uh, so, that kind of thing. And then she very quickly found that that was not the case.
Yeah, she thought he
Um,
was gonna be as like a zone of safety for her, and he was not. Uh,
I
no,
mean, think of how most people are when they very first start seeing someone, dating someone, talking to someone. Everybody only shows what they want the other person to see at first. And they didn't even have enough
right.
time for her to see his true colors before they got married, basically.
No.
And
And that's right. I
yeah.
mean, she said that they would have these like long phone conversations, and then she may not hear from him for days. So, it was like whenever it suited him, and she didn't have a whole lot of dating experience, so she may have thought, okay, that's the way it is. And I said last week, I wonder if her sister ever thought, wow, I'm glad that didn't end up being me, because she dated him before Diana did. So, she might have thought, but at the time, Diana thought she was kind of like getting one over on her sister. Like, she was like, the prince chose me, but he didn't, but not you, or, so there maybe a sibling rivalry kind of played a part there. I don't know.
So, Robin, you were right. I found a little info about that dress. So it said
Oh, okay.
if one image of Princess Diana Spencer has stood the test of time, it's the photo of her arriving at the Serpentine Gallery Gala in 1994. She looked stunning in the form-fitted black chiffon dress that just barely skimmed her knees, and she paired the look with black stockings, black pumps, stunning jewelry, and of course her effortless poise. So what made the look so inappropriate? The context of the day, really, as noted by people, uh, uh, the magazine people. Prince Charles had admitted on national television that he had been cheating on Diana that afternoon. And instead of letting the confession get the best of her, she stepped out in one of her most daring outfits of all time. On a human level, for Diana, you can only imagine how upsetting that would have been, not only to hear that, but to know that now the world has heard it. Uh, People's senior editor, Michelle Torben, said some may have decided this was altogether too much and tried to avoid the cameras, stay out of the limelight, just let the storm pass. That is not what Diana chose to do that night.
Yeah, I'm gonna share here. Um, Let me add it to the stage. I don't want that ad. Get out of here. I mean, look at
Yeah, there you
this.
go.
There's
That's
the
it.
red one. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
yeah, but it is the black one.
The
That
Yeah, it's
was
the black one is what they termed, I
we're
guess.
talking
But
about.
I mean, look at her. I mean,
Hmm.
this is not how the royals at that time were dressing.
Right.
And she looked spectacular in anything she wore, even casual clothing. I mean, she could pull off almost anything. So, I mean, she was just a stunning woman, and how anyone could choose Camilla.
Yeah.
I don't
I know. It doesn't make sense. It will never make sense. I agree with you.
It's so
Yeah.
crazy how in these dresses, it almost seems like she's trying to be a little saucy, but
Yeah.
she just always ends up looking elegant and beautiful,
Classy.
no matter
Yes.
just classy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
She just admitted
Absolutely.
class.
Yeah. Absolutely. Just gorgeous.
Yeah, that was
So,
definitely those were definitely her because that white one I remember being referred to as the Maryland dress because it was Marilyn
mhm.
Monroe had one just like that too. And these were her little I love it because they're like her little in your face type things that she did. She did a lot
Yeah.
of stuff like that, guys.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys knew this. I forgot about this. I was going to say this earlier, but dude, she did things like this all the time, not just like dressing certain types of ways, but she went and publicly did things that you
Yeah.
just don't do. I think it was in 87. It was in April of 87. They said she made a revolutionary move by going and shaking hands with someone who had been diagnosed with AIDS while opening Britain's first specialist AIDS/HIV unit, something unheard of when the crisis was at its peak. You didn't do that, especially when you're somebody like her. You know
Right.
how taboo that was back in the day. Oh my God, you can't touch somebody, blah blah blah. They can't breathe on you. That kind of dumb shit, you know. Um,
Yeah.
but she did it. She absolutely did it because, like one has said many many times, she cared about people. Period. No matter what happened,
Yeah.
she cared about people.
Yeah.
Um, and she said her statement was HIV does not make people dangerous to know. She told waiting reporters, according to the Daily Mail, surprise, you can shake their hands and give them a hug. Heaven knows that they need it. Absolutely. And I love that. She decided because she's, like we said earlier, she did many, many things that were controversial, but they were like the first of many. Like she was the
Yeah.
first to do these things, if you know what I'm trying to say. Like she made the mark and pushed it so that these things were able to happen. I'll just put it that way. She
Yeah.
decided to clear the misinformation with her hands-on visits to AIDS wards, and again was pegged as rebellious, as we all know. And it was the media that did that to her, um, every time.
But it makes you wonder, maybe it's too bad the royal more people in the royal family kind of didn't follow her example. Um,
Agreed.
like
Right.
to me,
I
she
got
was a
another one to show
trendsetter
her.
in a lot of ways. Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
So I got yeah. So this was 1995. The Serpentine Gallery galas and parties really saw some of the best Princess Diana outfits, and this number she chose to wear in 1995 broke so many royal protocol rules. It's hard to know where to start. The
Yeah.
dress itself was a gorgeous powder blue, featured a plunging halter neckline, a short hemline, and a squared off backless silhouette. She carried a small silver clutch and topped off the dazzling look with drop down earrings and a delicate bracelet. So, what's all the fuss? Well, the dress was very inappropriate by royal standards. Let's dive in. The skirt was far too short to conform to royal protocol.
Yep.
Necklines in the royal family almost always cover the shoulders and are never plunging. So there's two more rules broken right there. To top it off, Diana was not wearing pantyhose, a staple royal dress tradition that is still followed by the royal women to this day.
Do you guys remember when Princess Diana attended, I think it was one of Harry's like school, whatever it is, where they participate in games and stuff outside, like end of the year activity type things, and they told her, you can absolutely not participate. Not only can you not participate, but don't you dare get in one of those potato sacks and do a potato sack race. And she was like, what? this is my child. I'm playing with my son. Like, and she
She did it.
She said, F you. Yep, I'm
Yep.
doing it.
Yep.
And they were
That's-
just appalled by it.
It's
Absolutely.
great that she did that kind of stuff, because those are the things that, you know, I'm certain have stuck with her boys, you know.
Yeah. I'm reading through all of this stuff, guys, and her attire and her dress, the way she dressed was a huge deal for them. I mean, really big
Yeah.
deal in many, many, many aspects. It says as she was always seen as a style icon, because everything she wore, even the stuff that wasn't revealing and no, still was beautiful. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It didn't necessarily stop the royal family or the tabloids from scrutinizing her, which is going back to what we've always said, was no matter what she did, she could never do right in their eyes. It was always, no, you're wrong with this, and no, you can't do that. No, you can't be your own self. You can't be your own person. Very sadly, is what it was. It says even her, whether it was wearing strapless dresses, a sheer skirt, or even just her engagement ring, judged by some as too opulent. Some of Diana's most beloved outfits were often seen as controversial, even wearing, I remember that one time. I remember seeing that photograph. Wearing a Philadelphia Eagles jacket was pegged as too different from royal protocol, while the Princess of Wales was ready to mimic the modern times and contemporary styles of the moment. Many thought she should be more traditional. It's kind of sad.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Here's one of
I
her
don't
and wearing Princess Diana was the first person to make biker shorts cool, but her look broke a lot of rules.
Yeah.
Wasn't she like going to the gym or something?
Yes. So
Yeah.
yes, and this outfit that she wore, it's funny later on. So it actually sold for 53,000 at an auction in
Jesus.
2019, because it said the piece was special not just because Princess Diana wore it, but because she used it.
Right. This
But yeah,
this
so this was after she was going through the divorce already. Yeah, so she wore skin tight biker shorts, sunglasses, messy hair, and we couldn't love her more for it, but the look was highly inappropriate for a member of the royal family. And even after her divorce from Prince Charles, it seemed as if the royals still expected Diana to dress like they did. But that,
Yeah.
of course, is not what she did.
this picture I threw back here, this is what she was expected to wear on a regular basis, folks. And it's really pathetic. If you look at it, it looks like it's from like the 1600s. But that's how she was supposed to dress.
Oh, this
that.
one?
Yeah. You see that this, whatever the hell that is, goes all the way
Yeah.
up here.
Yeah.
Nothing's exposed.
That's not her. Yeah, that's not her at all.
not even close. It's kind of
No.
sad. So, but that's what she was expected to look like, period. And I'm like, are you kidding me? And look at her face. Her face is killing me.
Yeah.
She's like, are you kidding? I know it's not why she's making a face, but it's funny because it's like, yeah, I know, I look ridiculous. You know what I mean?
Her facial expression and body language there, usually when people tuck their chin down, it's to protect their neck, because they feel like not in the right spot. They don't feel safe. They don't.
Yeah.
So you can tell right there.
Yeah, they don't
she
feel
doesn't.
comfortable.
Mhm.
Good point. Very good point.
I was trying to find that ring. When you said about the ring, Dago, that's what
Oh, yeah.
I had actually researched the ring,
Yes.
and oh my,
There was
but
a
by
big deal
today's
made about that.
standards, it would be like it would be worth between $20 and $40 million. Her engagement ring. Yeah, her
Yeah.
engagement ring.
I would
Definitely.
actually think it would be worth more than that.
Nowadays.
Well,
Oh,
yeah, now, yeah. So, but back then it was I think it was like 38,000 pounds or something like that back then. But now, because of all the provenance regard, with it having been worn by her, and and so forth. It would be, and the type of sapphires that were in it and everything, because it was 18 karat white gold, and I forget how many carats the
Yeah,
diamond was, and it was like 28 carats the diamond. And I don't know. I can't
it
find
was
it now. Damn it.
12 carat.
Thank you. Thank you.
It was
Yeah.
it
So
was
I
a
mean,
sapphire and diamond ring, and at that
yep.
time it was valued at 37,500.
Yeah, that was
Wow.
pounds. That's not. Yeah. So I
But
mean,
still back
it's
then too,
just
that's
an
a lot.
extraordinary thing. I
Yeah.
can't imagine wearing that.
And does Princess Kate wear that now?
Yeah. Yeah,
Kate
she has it
Middleton?
now. I can't remember if they made any alterations to it though, outside of size maybe.
I knew they
But
gave it to somebody else. I couldn't remember
yeah,
who.
yeah, Princess Catherine has it now. Yep.
Yeah,
Right.
so Kate Middleton, that is absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
This is the
Yep.
deepest blue. Oh, so pretty.
Um,
Right.
Are we gonna get to like how she met Dodie, when she met Dodie, things like that?
yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. They also said one of the other big things that was a big deal that she wasn't supposed to do was she talked about politics with people. And that was a no-no. That wasn't her place to do that. The prince, the men are only supposed to do that kind of stuff, or the queen. She was not supposed to do that, but she did it constantly, and it was a big, like, no, 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 you don't do that. There were many things that were like that she did. Um, yeah, whenever you guys, whichever direction you want to go, you guys, it's up to you guys. So
Yeah, go right ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to try to show this.
Okay.
If I can't get it to, let's see. Why is it not? I keep trying to save it, and I don't know why. Annoying. I was trying to show a picture of her ring.
Yeah, I don't know why I couldn't locate it. But oh, Lee's in the
Yeah.
chat.
Is he?
Yeah. Oops. Look at these beautiful people. I feel like we're the Brady Bunch, you know. When you're looking at yourself in StreamYard, it's like, you know, how they did that on the opener and everything for that show.
Yeah.
How's DA? I hope you got some rest today after all his traveling.
and a lot of people, with what Logan had just asked, a lot of people think that she didn't even know who Dodie was until like way later. She knew Dodie way back in like 1986. They had met, I believe it was at a some kind of one of those games they had over there at some point that she had to show up to. But that's when they first met,
Oh,
back in 1986.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. She was married to Charles. Oh, it was a polo match. That's it. I don't know why I can't remember those things. And yeah, way back in 1986, and it was kind of like they were instantly like drawn to each other, even back then. But they knew that this is a no, we can't do this kind of stuff. So they were just friends, for all those years. So,
Wow.
and she knew, they both knew too, but she mostly knew that anything she did was completely scrutinized. Was always going to be caught by the tabloids, this and that. So she was very, very careful to not make things look a certain type of way, and they did it anyway. They did it
Right.
anyway, just like they still do. They still do this kind of stuff. The tabloids, then, like the National Enquirer and the Star and Sun and all that stuff, is basically what we have on the internet now.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we used to call them the slime sheets.
Yeah, that's what they are. That's what
Back
they
then,
are.
that's what we used to call them, was the slime sheets. Yeah, because that's pretty much all they had in them. But everyone ate, always ate up everything that came out as gospel, you know. Not everyone, but a lot of people. So,
Yeah, and another big deal with this too, and it was the media is still disgusting, just as disgusting then as they are now. Now that I see
mhm.
this stuff, they were constantly grossly obsessed with getting topless photos of Diana because I guess she would do a lot of like it's a thing over there. The way it was reading, a topless sunbathing and things like that, you know, which we do here
Yeah.
too. I know for a fact, but um, they would go try and catch her while she's sunbathing, and then they would get the photos and they'd plaster them everywhere to try to shame her for being topless because she's in the royal family.
Yeah.
Leave her
Right.
alone, for Christ's sakes. You know what I mean?
Right. That's just disgusting.
Thank you, Bianca, for the when gifted. We have a brand new turtle. It's ARWD4H. Thank you so much, sweetie. We appreciate you.
Very nice.
Congrats. Yep.
Nice, nice.
They said they made a big deal and said that she didn't promise to obey. I think we all know that at this point. When she
No,
married
right.
Charles,
She did not. She did not say that.
yeah,
No.
it says in royal wedding vows, it's typical for the woman to say the line that they promise to obey. Their husbands, in what world? Diana had the same idea as us and decided to leave that out of her vows. Thank God. It
Yeah.
had been a tradition in royal weddings, including Queen Elizabeth II, to say the phrase. It was one of the earliest signs that Diana was willing to buck tradition, uh, sorry, but as with everything else she did, the inconsequential decision only heightened the scrutiny on the young princess. I think that's hilarious. Good for you. And
Yeah.
she also another big deal that she bucked everything. It seems like almost everything she did, she was bucking the system with it. Royal protocol dictates that the mother of the child is supposed to name the children after someone that is already in the royal bloodline, dating back to the 1400s. But Diana didn't want that. She wanted to name her babies herself. She compromised and let Charles name their middle names after the late relatives of his, which I think, again, everything she did, she was trying to buck the system, and you got to love her for it, you know?
Yeah.
Um, not
Look at
only
that
did,
ring.
That is gorgeous.
yeah,
Yeah.
Mm.
that's insane.
It's crazy.
Absolutely. Beautiful.
Insane.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
What is that called again? Well, like, what's the whole story behind the gems and stuff?
It's a sapphire.
It's a sapphire.
Yeah.
Blue
Right.
sapphire.
And is that
Uh,
something that had been in the family for a long time?
It's a 12 karat sapphire engagement ring that broke royal tradition. It says.
Gotcha.
Prince Charles presented Lady Diana Spencer with a collection of rings to choose from prior to his proposal. She chose a sapphire and diamond ring out of a Gerard catalog, breaking with tradition. While the royal family loved sapphires, Diana broke the mold because her ring was not custom made for her.
Right. Very
Interesting.
pretty.
It was in a catalog actually in 1981 that was available to everybody in the public, which is why the royal family couldn't stand that she chose that.
Yeah.
Surprise.
So, yeah. The sapphire
They
and diamond
wanted-
ring was valued at $37,500 in 1981, which translates to roughly, it says, 132,913 in 2025. The 12 karat oval Ceylon sapphire ring was chosen by Diana herself, broke tradition as it wasn't custom designed for the future Princess of Wales. In fact, Diana chose her own engagement ring out of a catalog and has gone to become one of the most iconic royal jewelry pieces of all time. Yeah. Interesting.
I think that was
And-
just another way of her saying, look, like to the public, look, guys, I'm not like them. I'm like you.
Right. That's a good
Yeah.
way to put
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Like, I don't need all this extravagant stuff. I pick my ring from a dang catalog that you can too.
And that's the
Yep.
like It's surprising to see that it's a sapphire and not a diamond. You know what I mean? You would expect
Mhm.
in the
Well,
royal family it
yeah,
would be a monstrous sized diamond or something, right?
right.
Yeah.
I mean, I
And
think I got a. Let me see.
the
Another,
Ceylon sapphires are the most rare sapphire there are. And they do I know from working in a jewelry store, they actually those types of sapphires typically come from like Sri Lanka and places like that. We don't really have them naturally occurring too much here in the States. They mainly come, they're imported from other countries. So that type of sapphire, and that says something about her that that's the kind of stone that she chose,
yeah,
because she was one of a kind. So she wanted a one of a kind ring.
makes perfect sense. She did everything that way. Again, like I said, she used a non-traditional name. She wanted to name her children herself. Not only did she break protocol with her babies' names, she also gave birth outside the palace. You're not supposed to do that when you're in the royal family. You're supposed to have your children inside the palace, I believe, with a midwife, and she just no. Um, and she actually did it in a hospital, to be exact. The media and the royals deemed her as a rebel for doing so, despite her being adamantly open about the fact that she wanted her boys to have a normal life. Folks, there it is.
Yep. Yeah.
Very, very sad. Very sad that that's what you have to call it. You have to call it a normal life. You know, I mean,
Yeah,
it,
these are things we take for granted. Where we can, where are we going to have our kids? What we're going to name them? We don't, you know, most people they have all those, eh, all that independence. So people can say, "Oh yeah, she was rich and all this," but it just goes to show that that kind of money that does not buy you happiness.
no, no. I mean, no, not even close. And that's something I think people have known for years. You know, people are like, "Oh my god, if I was able to live in Buckingham Palace and live that life, I would do it. I'd have everything." Sure, you could have all these things, but you don't get to be you. Okay, you're being somebody else
Right.
doing all those things that they want you to be, not you. And you can't just do whatever you want when you want, how you want. And that's the sad part.
Right.
Yeah, and you lose yourself of you lose your identity by
100%. And that's part of what I
and
think happened to her. Yeah.
that's where all these like eating disorders and all this other kind of stuff comes because
Well,
everyone needs some kind of release.
yeah. And it's crazy because she really like took charge with her children. Okay, she like bucked them constantly, no matter what they said. She still did what she wanted with her children. She made it known they're her children. Um, she wanted them to have a normal life, despite being British royalty. Instead of letting her children be raised, remember the stuff we were talking about before with the etiquette sessions and
Right.
all the nannies you're supposed to have, and you're supposed to step back and let the
Right.
nannies take care. She was hands on, actively hands on with her kids. Um, you would think that nobody would have an issue with that, as they were saying in this, but the media called her so many times saying that she was controlling or overbearing. She just, and that's not what it was. She just wanted to be the mother to her children. She didn't want somebody else being a mother to them while she was off doing whatever, like what went on with Charles and all of them. They didn't have that.
Right.
Queen Elizabeth didn't do that. They had nannies. You weren't supposed to
Right.
be an active mom. It's ridiculous.
I
Um,
love
Yeah.
the fact that even, in front of people, Diana wasn't fake to her children in front of, she was doing
No.
interviews and stuff like that. She would say, "Harry, sit the heck down and shut the heck up." I
she was
always loved
real.
that about her,
Yeah,
yeah.
she was very real.
Yeah.
She even traveled with them when she had to go do the things she had to do. She would dropped and picked them up from school, talked them different things, and played with them. And they went to regular schools. They were supposed to be going to a specific school because of who they were, and that didn't happen either.
Mm-mm.
Everything she could do, she did. She did.
Yeah.
To get out of that. Remember what was it you, Logan, that brought up the potato sack race thing?
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Um, 1 minute
Yeah.
here. I got that photograph here too. You
Yeah,
want to
and she
throw that
went
up
to
there?
amusement parks with them.
Yeah, I saw a picture of them on it. We used to call it here at Jogga Lake the log ride, where they were sitting
Yeah.
in. Yeah, right. But this
Yep.
here is at one of their school functions. Um, what the hell was it called? It was something we did here too.
It was like a sports day, wasn't it? or
Yeah, at the
something?
end of the year, when I was in elementary school, I can't remember what they called it, but
We
we
used to
would
call
have
it field day.
field day. Bingo.
Field
Thank
day.
you.
Field
There
Yeah.
you
day.
go. Yeah, I threw that picture backstage if you guys want to throw that up there, and it's her running in the middle of the race. Like that's not acceptable.
Yeah. I
There
love
she
it.
is, right there.
I think that's great.
She was 100% real, folks, and you gotta love her for that. Truly and honestly.
Yep.
They know the nannies will go. They'll be at the school with the kids. They'll do this. No, she said no. These are my
Yep.
children. This is what I do, and this is what I will do, and I love it. I do.
Yeah.
I forgot I had
Yep.
all this where I had all this stuff. So, anything you guys want to add to any of this?
Oh, somebody says she actually
No.
won that race. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it is cool.
that's what it said at the bottom
Very
on the
cool.
thing.
That's really cool.
Yeah, there's so many cool things about her that she did, or the things that she chose not to do and not act like royalty, that just made her the people's princess.
Yeah.
Yes, very much so.
It's just a shame that it happened right when she was. I kind of think of her kind of like the butterfly emerging from the cocoon in a lot of ways. She was really owning her future. At 36, she was just, and then yeah,
Absolutely. I mean, it shows if we step back just a little bit, Charles was never around, as you guys said. Okay, it was alleged that his affairs began even before he married Diana. They were like
oh yeah,
engaged to be married. Okay, she's going through the etiquette courses, classes, whatever you call it, speech classes, and that, and he's out doing it already. They're not even married yet, you guys. So that tells you what type of a person this man is.
Mhm.
I want to say, um, what was her name? Dale Tryon. She was one of his first loves. So why didn't he marry her? Okay, I mean she's an attractive woman. It's funny because they all kind of have some resemblance to Diana. It's wild, um, with something. But yeah, why didn't you marry her? If this was your first love, why didn't you marry her? Or is it because she wasn't good enough? You know what I mean? If there was not that little touch of nobility or something there, maybe I don't know.
probably maybe his mother said no. She does not
Yeah,
have the proper pedigree, so therefore she is not going to become a part of this family. So
and he was actually I didn't even realize that he had dated Camilla in the 70s, the early 70s. Before this even happened, he was dating Camilla way back then, and
mhm.
he cheated on Camilla with this Dale Tryon. So
Well,
obvious
and
Camilla's
that's
obviously not very
the
smart.
thing. The men are expected to cheat. What
Yeah.
what was it? His
Yeah.
father actually said to him, how did that something about it's expected that after 5 years, give it 5 years, and then you can have a mistress or whatever you want. So it's expected, and maybe back then the women were like, yes, please go, leave me alone. Like I'm doing my duty by bearing children
Right.
for you, but other than that, I do not love you. I don't want to be with you, and many of them had their own affairs. So, I mean, it wasn't just the men, but uh, the so many of the marriages were just that. They were convenience marriages.
This guy was
And
so goofy looking too with them ears and this, and it had to be about who he was. I mean, he was dating at one
oh
point.
yeah.
I'm reading here that the Dale Kanga Tyron, an Australian designer whom Charles reconnected with through her husband, Anthony Tryon. Third Baron Tryon, Charles and Dale reportedly first met at a school dance in Melbourne. Dale moved to the UK in 72 to launch her fashion career, which is when he started having an affair with her. And then the following year, she married Anthony. So he was seeing her and Camilla and broke up with them temporarily to marry Diana. And then went right back to it with Camilla. And I guess Dale locked down with her husband finally, I guess.
Mm.
It's just like you don't expect people like this is stuff we do over here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we're not even this bad, but this guy was all over the damn place.
Yeah.
Wow.
Where
That's
are you
crazy.
taking us next? Do you have another step into her life that you want to take us
Yes,
through?
sir. Please.
Well, I mean, I have stuff on the crime scene, which I don't think we're gonna really get to tonight.
No.
Guys,
No,
keep
not
in mind
tonight.
we have a couple more episodes of Princess
Yes. Yeah.
Diana still, so this
Yeah.
is not the end. You'll have to tune in next week.
Yep. So, I don't know. Maybe this is a good place to leave off then for tonight. Then,
Sure.
so we don't go into the next subject and kind of have to quit.
Yeah,
So,
because I got a lot. Yeah, I
I
have a
get it.
lot of stuff.
Okay. All right. So, why don't we do that?
Oh wow.
And we'll go around the horn here. And so let's go Logan, Dago, 1-1, and now I guess I will close this out. So
Thank you, everybody, for showing up tonight. I am so glad I could make it for the second episode of Princess Diana, but keep in mind, we still have a third and probably a fourth because I know the accent's going to be pretty long. So thank you, everybody, for joining us. Thank you for the gifted. Thank you, mods. Thank you, everybody else, for joining. You guys are the ones who make the show for sure. It is not us. It is you. So thank you for always tuning in. Do something nice for yourself today. Be kind, but more importantly, be kind to your animals. Bye, guys.
Thank you all for joining us again. I appreciate you all so very much. It is always a great conversation. This definitely is interesting. I promise you guys it gets way more interesting coming up soon. We're just trying to fill the space in there between this and that and make sure that you guys know everything as always. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the next couple episodes because it's where it gets really interesting. Thank you, Logan, 1-1, and Robin, as always, for being here with us. And thank you to all you amazing moderators whom we would not exist without, and all of you beautiful people out there. Make sure you love yourselves and love each other. Don't change nothing because you guys are truly the beautiful people, and we'll see you next time. Have a great night, folks.
thank you, sir. 1-1.
We love all you guys. You guys are the best. We can't survive without you. Great panel. Great speech.
Do you have a movie quote?
I do. I always have a movie quote.
Let's go. I'm going to get one, I swear.
Okay, you ready?
Ready.
Gotta be fast because Dago needs like a 30-second handicap. Hey, Doc, we better back up. We don't have enough road to get up to 88. Roads? Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Back to the Future.
No.
Back,
Dumb and Dumber.
God damn. Damn you, Dago.
No, I'm never gonna get it. It's okay.
I waited a few minutes to see if anybody would say it, but
I haven't seen that movie in years, so
Uh,
I tried to wait, guys. Sorry.
I'm not a
Oh,
movie
that's
person.
okay.
I'll be shocked if I ever get one.
That's one of my favorite movies, though. So you got to give me a break on that one.
I'm a
Ah,
documentary
there you go.
person.
Just
Well, guys, thank you so much for coming out. As always, you know, eh, these nights are always so special for us, and just having you guys tune in means the world to us. And we certainly hope that you'll come back next week for part 3. Like Dago said, this is, just going to get more and more interesting. It's always important to go back to the beginning and get the history behind the people that we're talking about, especially in these um, retrospective cases where so many years have passed, and there's a lot of things that you may have either forgotten or never knew in the first place. So it's always interesting to revisit, the early years of especially someone like Diana. So, but and no matter whether you're here with us live or you're watching on the replay crew, we, appreciate each and every one of you so much. And we will be back at our regular time tomorrow night. DA is planning on being with us. So 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and of course 9 p.m. Eastern. So, we'll be here for more fun and games, and I'm sure we'll be talking all kinds of cases from Idaho 4 to the Kentucky case, which is what DA is doing this week. He's boots on the ground this week a lot. So I'm sure he will have some fascinating information for us with that case. So make sure you come back tomorrow night to tune in. And I hope you all have a wonderful rest of the night. Take care, guys.
have a great night.
Have a good night, guys.
Adios.